All right. I mean, I've seen, with the exception of Kelly Lynch, because I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else before or since. Everybody else in this movie, I've seen in other movies where they were better. So what's going on in this movie? Do you think Gus Van Sant said, "Okay, guys, I want you guys to say every line like you're a really wooden actor from like a '50s B movie," or what the hell is going on?
Well,
I don't think the
okay.
script's that bad,
I
but
wanna,
the
I
line
wanna,
deliveries are just like,
I wanna go
wow.
right after you because
I want to go third.
I'd only seen this thing once, and I remember, liking it or thinking it was, unique. But yeah, this time around, I was like, I agree, John, and I really thought that Matt Dillon was really bad here, and I
He's
was like,
bad.
what's
Heather
going
Graham is bad.
on?
I've seen her be great. She was
Heather
great in
Graham is
Boogie
not.
Nights.
Heather Graham is
Heather
not
Graham is
bad.
always bad in everything.
No, fuck you.
Always.
Nope, she's
No.
great in
She
Boogie
is
Nights.
she's good in Boogie Nights because she is a
She's
piece
great
of
in this.
cardboard and
Fuck
they just
you.
put her in roller skates. She's hot. She's a
No, no, no.
terrible, terrible
I
actor.
disagree, but that's a different movie. We can talk about.
Okay,
We can
that's
argue
different.
about that later.
But I'm agreeing with you on this one
And
where
just
I
what's
thought
going on in this movie?
everyone was
Okay, well,
really
what-
bad in this.
It's
Well,
like Plan 9 from Outer Space. You know the way everybody talks in a movie like that?
Every time Matt Dillon said, Diane, I'm like, why do you keep saying her fucking name to her? You're
Yeah.
talking to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because he's so fucking stoned, he doesn't.
I wanted to
know
go
if
off on
he
a
said
little
her
diatribe though. I looked up Dillon because I actually like Matt Dillon.
Do
But
you?
I think he's kind of a shitty fucking act. I just hate his voice. I think he looks like a doofus. I think he's like half maybe fucking has Down syndrome. I don't know what's happening with this dude, but I still like him in certain things where I'm like, I
Cool.
loved him in like,
It's cool.
you know,
Great.
the something about Mary is fucking hilarious. He's so funny in that. Like he's got movies where I'm like, you're on fire, and then he's everything else. I'm like,
Outsiders.
why do you sound like you have marbles in your fucking mouth and you have Down syndrome and you look like a dope? Like, cause I don't know. He bugs the shit out of me. I think he's terrible in this movie. Let's keep going. It's still a good movie. Every movie
Okay.
is good.
My turn. All right. This film either is one or two things. It's either Gus Van Sant is not a very good filmmaker, which he's done
Which
others,
is-
which is
Which is not true.
I know, but you know what? If you didn't see anything else but this, you'd think this guy was just unpacked from a box and just made his first movie. And
Yes.
and the second thing is maybe this film felt like I'm making an art film. This is art film. We're making, you see
But
this.
it's not, though.
But it is. It's got
And Van
all
Sant
these
has
little,
made
it
real
has
art
all
pictures.
these little 90s indie movie things going on in it.
Well,
And,
everything behind Chris so far,
Yeah.
the floating spoon and
It felt
whatever the fuck that is.
the cumulative effect of the whole thing about like I make a movie by a bunch of guys who were doing drugs in the early 70s or whatever. It just felt exploitative, and after a while, insincere. It just
Insincere.
yeah. It
If
wasn't
you think about the best drug movies of all time, and this is always on the lists, by the way,
yeah.
I wouldn't
Why?
put it in
I
the
don't
top.
know.
I wouldn't put it in the top fucking 10.
Jerry,
No, I
I
wouldn't
had the
either.
same reaction seeing it this time as you did, which was like I had memories of it being like, well, people seem to think that's a pretty good movie, and I saw it when it came out, and I
Art
remember
film brainwashing, art
Yes,
cinema brainwashing.
art film brainwashing. But I
Yeah.
remember being kind of disappointed with it when I actually saw it when it came out.
and I could say
couldn't
that,
remember why, but now I fucking remember why.
and I can't say the same thing about my two favorites, which are like Train Spotting and Requiem. Like those still on every
Trainspotting
viewing
is just like-
hold up.
Million
And
percent.
I just didn't feel that with this one.
Yeah.
The story's not bad. I'm just talking about the performances. I think it's just
We
incredibly.
we
wooden.
also, what's laughable about this thing is it's about four people, two couples, right? They're all model beautiful, all four
Yeah.
of them. The girls are. Kelly Lynch is like self-possessed and clever and funny, and she's still hanging out with a guy who's breaking into drugstores, and the other guy is a stays follower, and
Well,
Heather
that's-
Graham is beautiful. And it visually makes no sense.
The
These people
premise.
look healthy and young, and they shouldn't be doing any of this stuff. It made no
you get
sense.
Train Spotting. Those people look sick because they are.
Yeah, they are,
and,
exactly.
And these people, but I will say the premise of this is fucking brilliant. I think, like, because this is the only movie, as far as I know, and I didn't breaking into actual fucking pharmacies and stealing drugs. That's awesome. Like, I want a good movie about that.
There's a lot of good scenes in this, or what could have been good scenes. I just think.
Yeah, just not the montages. Hey, look, a spinning
not
hat.
the montage. Fuck the montage. Jesus Christ! All the float. Oh, look, he's afraid of hats. Here are some hats flying through the shot.
That's the whole insincere, but the art film crowd's gonna love this hat flying around here. It's like Oh, come on.
It's
It's
no
not
baby. It's no.
good.
It's no baby crawling on a ceiling and then turning its fucking head in a 180.
Which
dude.
was, and what happened, actually, that scene was great. The scene that followed it sold it. That's Train Spotting, of course. And so it was like, yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. All right. Anybody else has a turn?
10 years later was Train Spotting.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
So
This
they
is
got-
early on, so I do give it some
About
credit.
When this came out, this movie did a lot of things before anybody else did, and so context is important.
Context is everything.
Is
Chris is
important.
doing his William Burroughs now.
God. Oh, also, art film,
The
art
entire
stunt
show.
casting William S. Burroughs in a movie.
That's fun. Come on.
But
It's
stunt
just fun to
casting.
see.
He's
All
not gonna be anybody but William S. Burroughs in this thing. It's like
Tad, you want to go? You want to go now, Tad?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. But one of the things I'm gonna give I'm gonna give
No,
one
no,
big-
no. I wasn't saying go ahead to you, Scott. I was saying go ahead to Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
You guys
Well,
gonna
but-
fucking-
Because I don't want to hear that. Oh my God.
This
Go
is
ahead.
a movie that I bought on Laserdisc when it came out and watched about 47 times.
Yeah.
There are still lines in this movie that make me laugh out loud. I think the sense of place is great. John, I actually agree with you. I think that there are line deliveries done by actors in this movie that feel like they're doing a table read.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing about Dylan is, and none of y'all have mentioned this, like this was his real breakout.
Yep.
Because the dude got famous in the 70s and Over the Edge, My Bodyguard,
The Outsiders.
the Little Foxes.
It's also
Bryce,
it's also his favorite of any movie he's ever
Correct.
been in.
But he's like
But he did those Coppola movies before this, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
That's so
those
sad,
were
though.
still-
Yeah, it was a Rumblefish.
Outsiders
Yeah.
and Rumblefish were still like watching a model do a commercial.
Oh.
This
This
was
is
a-
like four models doing a commercial, but keep going. Uh-huh.
movie was
Also,
a-
I think
a
his-
real stretch for him. I think that James LeGros it's a weird performance, but it's funny as fuck.
I love him, by the way. I think he's
Everything William
underrated.
Burroughs is in made me smile. Like apparently he got to write a little backstory, which was one of the reasons why he agreed to do it in the first place. But I just enjoy the fuck out of listening to the man talk. And
Same
I
here.
think
Same
that
here.
the filmmaking, again, you guys are dunking on, you know, the overtly artsy, but at the time that it came out, there weren't that many other movies like this.
There were no other movies like this,
I
and
mean,
also
I think
and
there was
also
impact.
James Remar
Yeah.
is fucking incredible.
Yeah,
in
he's
this
really
movie.
good in this.
He's
too.
good in everything, though. It's fun to watch him work.
Yeah, but Matt Dillon is also good in everything. Like it's
I
fuck
like
you,
him, but
Jared.
he's
I don't
not
care.
good.
I don't think he
Um,
was.
You said you don't like Dustin Hoffman. You like
and the
Matt
music-
Dillon.
I think you
Holy
guys are
shit.
evenly
I
matched.
didn't say I
Fuck up,
don't.
dude.
I didn't say I don't.
Matt
Dracula.
Dillon over Dustin Hoffman.
These
Yeah.
cues are great. I mean, Tad, you live in the PNW, so I think this is an extremely
Yeah.
graphic and real depiction of what it is like to be up there.
Yep.
Yeah, mostly depressing.
This is fucking gray and moist.
I love the weather up there.
Uh-huh.
The music cues are great. I mean,
Music's good.
I like this movie.
The music is good, except for the scene where they go to his mom's house, and then it's like, "What the fuck are you doing right now?" Because
What
they're
is it?
playing
Mom was
whatever
bad,
that
too. All the
dumb
acting is
song
so bad.
is.
When this scene happens, when he's like the close up of the needle going in, I'm like, oh wait, this is where fucking Tarantino lifted the entire John Travolta drug scene from Pulp Fiction.
Wait,
Like,
say the-
there's a-
And did it way better.
This movie
you
was
mean like
made-
the back end and things like that? Yeah.
This movie was made in 1988.
Uh-huh.
I love Trainspotting. It's on my top 10 of all time. I love Pulp Fiction, but I'm watching this going, huh? Like there's definitely
Heather Graham was 18 when this movie
Yeah.
was made.
And looks it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
hey,
her acting has not improved.
And the thing
since.
is, you could go on about the acting.
I mean, you're full of
I want
shit,
to talk
Jared.
about the writing for a second. Name Matt Dillon's characters
Is she
two
even an actor?
amazing, hilarious quirks.
Well,
Yes,
it's
two
superstitious.
super obvious. His
Well,
golf
you know
clubs
Diane. You
and
know
putting a
Diane.
hat on
Yeah,
the
but
bed. It's just
maybe
it's-
you all haven't hung. I've hung out with a lot of druggies, probably more than a couple of you, and they fucking have weird fucking.
Yeah,
like-
but
No, they're all
It has
into like
it's
Mario
not
Kart. They're all into
that
Mario
unhealthy.
Kart or
They
baseball.
didn't, It just looked arbitrary. It's like, let's make up a quirk for him. I know, we'll just do this, and
Make him superstitious.
Yeah, exactly. It just didn't feel organic.
I mean,
Also the thing where he hits the lamp, that was
funny.
That was not intentional. He
Oh,
did that, and they
makes
just
total
kept it
sense.
in.
Now the
Oh,
reaction,
it does make sense.
No, you can tell the reaction was like, "What the fuck just happened?" That's
Oh,
really good.
sorry.
Now I will give this film a little bit of credit, and at the point where he goes into rehab, I thought that started getting really interesting.
Yeah, I did like it better about halfway
Oh,
in.
and you're talking about stunt casting with Burroughs, but he's so good in those scenes. Like,
I'm not saying he's bad. It's just the thing is,
It's hard to tell. He's just
it just
James-
draws
he's just
attention to
he's
himself.
fine.
William
That's the problem.
Burroughs. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
I
just
like when he-
William Burroughs.
but most people had never heard that guy talk before.
True. Fair point.
Uh-huh.
And he looked like
Yeah,
that guy
I
living in
would
a
Read it,
agree
but
that-
they hadn't heard him.
He looks like a dude who lives in one room apartment in Portland and having a drug problem, basically.
I just think it was pretty smart. And
I think he
kinda gave
sells
the
being
movies-
a priest really well.
he's not going to live past it. As a character, he get that big bag.
I love that he was like an old man still doing like hardcore drugs. Like,
And
where do you
I think
see
it
that?
gives. I think
William
it
S.
gives.
Burroughs.
It gives Dylan's character. It gives Dylan's character something to look at and go, that could be me. I could be that exact guy.
And then at the end, he decides to be that guy.
Right.
Well,
think-
but at the end, so I went back and rewatched.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does when he's in the stretcher and he has
Okay.
the awful voiceover, which I will say
It is not.
awful.
this week's theme is awful voiceover. But the awful voiceover,
Really
where
bad
he's
voiceover.
like,
Also,
they're taking me to the best pharmacy in the
Right.
world.
The biggest
Yeah, right.
pharmacy in the world.
If
And-
they can keep me alive, I hope they can keep me alive. And as far as Van Sant and Dylan are concerned, he's dead.
and you
Right.
guys also know
They think he's dead? They
You guys
think he
also
died?
know.
I
You
thought
guys
he
know the
died.
actor that you guys know the actor. Everybody knows everybody knows who he is. I forget his name, but the actor that plays the detective in this,
Look,
James
James
Remar,
Remar.
That's
motherfucker.
James Remar. Okay,
Yeah.
I think he is always been one of the worst actors I've ever seen
Really?
in my life.
I didn't recognize
Interesting.
him. I kept trying to make him be Holden from Blade Runner, but he's not. Holden from
He's
Blade Runner.
like he would have been like he's like a reject from like Dexter, right?
was
Or
he the-
something. I don't
he
know.
was
He was the
the-
dad or
What the fuck are
something.
you
Hey,
talking
wasn't he the heavy in 48
He's
Hours?
so bad.
Yes.
He's so bad in everything, not just
He
in
was
this.
in the Warriors too. He was good in that.
He's a
He's
soap
heavy in a
opera
lot of
fucking
movies.
actor.
Yeah.
He's the heavy in a lot of movies.
He plays the heavies a lot, exactly. So
Okay.
this is kind of a
Yeah,
You know,
he's a
heavies
soap opera.
heavies can play detectives pretty well. You think about it.
Oh god, he just
But-
looks like fucking. He should be in Dick Tracy or some shit.
But like I said, I think that at the end, I liked where the film was going at the end, the very
That's
end, in
not-
terms of but the thing is, getting there was just risible. It was just it didn't believe a second of it.
The movie gets better somewhere around the middle. Like after they get raided, the first house gets raided and they have to move, and then
Yeah.
they go to the apartment. And some point around then, or maybe when they get thrown out of that apartment, I forget. Anyway, about halfway through, for some reason, I got a little more invested.
Yeah.
And maybe
Have any of you ever had your places tossed by the cops?
fuck no.
Can't
Oh
say
yeah,
I
that's
have.
like a Tuesday.
I
No,
don't
I have
believe
not.
you. I don't believe you, Jared.
I don't
course,
believe you
'cause
either.
If you have your place tossed by cops, you have fucking problems, my friend.
Hi, I've had my place tossed by the cops, and it turns
You have
out
fucking problems, my friend.
Cat, yes.
and it turns out that that's actually what they do. They
Right.
just take everything off of the bookshelves and out of the closets and everything else, and they just throw it all on the
Yeah,
floor.
that's what
and
being
they cut
tossed
open-
a room means, right?
Anyway, no, I've never had
What?
that happen. I've been thrown in the back of a patrol car once. That's kind of a similar feeling.
I've
but
also
just-
been thrown in the back of a patrol car.
okay,
But
I have.
Literally-
That's happened to me.
okay, good
literally, when they come in and they just throw everything on the floor and they cut open your pillows and they cut open your mattress and shit like that.
enough. Were they looking for drugs in your apartment?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's like, I don't have anything, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they just leave.
yeah.
And then you're just left there in this
Yes.
pile of shit
Yeah.
that used to be
Mhm.
your
Your
stuff. Like,
And there's
it's
no reprisal for the cops.
no, there isn't. And like
No,
they can be
state power has been demonstrated on you.
Well, in
personally.
this movie,
Yeah.
they are drug addicts. Who
Also,
are
that scene behind
criminals.
Chris was one
So
of my favorites, because
who cares,
that
Jared?
one scene behind Chris is actually them looking and acting just like drug addicts. That was it, though.
I never bought Kelly.
Also, why didn't you
As a
simply
drug
leave Heather Graham up in the rafters and just leave? I don't understand why they had to bury her.
You know what? I was thinking about
Respect.
that too, because my
That's
first
the fucking human thing to do, man.
yeah, he didn't want.
I was
he didn't
waiting.
want to be.
You know what? Okay, this is weird. I was waiting for some comedy to happen at this point.
Because the
They
cops
fell
are about
through
to
the
show
attic.
up.
leave.
She fell onto the
falls
kitchen
through
floor.
The ceiling, on top of a cop, and whatever. Something like that. I thought it was a setup for a punchline, but it wasn't.
Scott, well, he did drop her on the kitchen floor,
Well,
getting her back out of the
That's
attic.
true. We're halfway there.
The
It's like we
punchline-
saw this coming, right?
the punchline is, I prayed to God and said, if I hide her body and don't get caught, I will give up this life.
I'll give
That's
up
true.
this
His
one.
motivation for getting
And
out
he did.
of the life. Yeah.
And he did, and that's super cool, actually. Like
I said, that's what the film
kept,
improves.
he kept his commitment to God. Like,
I also thought the her dead body, the makeup artist, he went a little overboard.
I think so.
It's a little too blue.
it's been like a
too
week,
blue.
man.
It was like
Kelly Lynch
really
Kelly
exaggerated.
Lynch comes to visit him at the end, which is so fucking sad. And he gives that whole speech about how I got this little apartment. It's not great, but it's I got a little life happening here.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that scene is so, for me, that scene is so fucking good because a lot of people that go down that road never figured that part out.
Right.
And that kind of hit for me personal for a variety of reasons, what I'm not going to kind of get into. But like that to me is like the emotional punch for me is that speech and him watching her walk away.
I'm
Right.
drilling.
Like
I'm drilling.
That was
holes.
well
I
acted
drill
and
holes.
shot.
Yeah.
That was well shot and
Yeah.
paced. And,
Yeah, it's a good scene. I'll give you that.
Like
And
I
then
said,
it's
Like, the movie progressively gets better after the midpoint.
it tightens
But
up at the
And then
end.
Max
But I'm
Perlich
still- but I'm
with the
Usually
still
don't
with-
see that in films.
I'm still with John though. I just don't think I didn't believe anyone.
No,
in this.
neither did
And
I.
I was
The
trying,
dialogue never
Jared, to
improved.
the point where it seemed intentional to me. I was like, okay, is this just bad, or is he trying to do something stylistically?
He might be. I mean, Van Sant, I think, is a very talented person and has a really big, kind of range, to be honest, as a filmmaker.
I mean, because the lines are literally just like, "You dummy! What the heck are you trying to do?" I mean, that's kind of the way they deliver every line.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
Anybody else?
I still like it.
Sorry, Chris. I know it's one of your
It's
favorites.
okay. It's okay. We've
Hey,
all
Chris,
been,
I
we've all been
agree
there,
with
man.
you about the end. I agree with you about those scenes you were just talking about. It does get better.
Yeah,
In my head canon, the ambulance that picks him up at the end is the Ecto one.
All right, we can go to thumbs, I think.
And I like James LeGros' line. What's a transom?
Bob.
Yeah. Just below the just
I'm going middle,
almost
I-
good because
Yeah.
the ending was
I can knock 10% off the line reading, otherwise I love this movie.
didn't believe a thing
I
the
do
first
think-
half hour of the
I
film.
do think
yeah,
the-
Scott, I'm with you. Just
Yeah.
below the line here, right?
I'm gonna go.
Wait, did I just get a thumbs up from Tad?
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thumbs
he
up.
likes this film,
Tad
man.
in like 6 weeks.
I'm gonna go
I
middle
know,
because
you
I
still
do
have
think
to
the
do
premise
that.
is awesome, and
Uh-huh.
he's right. It's 89. I mean, it's pretty old. It's got some things, but everything else is not going for it in my